Welcome back, everybody, to the Pat and Play podcast. It has been a while. The international break has come and gone. We're going to consider dropping an episode in the middle of the international break, mostly around Bafana, to be honest with you, because there wasn't a lot to talk about in the international break other than the fact that South Africa, of course, is going to the World Cup. Wow, it's been ages. And coincidentally or otherwise, with Le Coq Sportif getting dropped for Adidas, so there's going to be brand new swag to rock at the new Torno, and I think that's a 5-year deal. Is it Judy 5?
Yeah,
2020.
yeah. It's either 5 or 3. It might be 3.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't think there was an awful lot to cover, so we're going to jump straight into the Premier League piece. But before we do stocks rising and stocks falling, welcome back, Vaughn. Welcome back, Jude. How are we doing?
You know me, chill vibes. My team won this weekend. I couldn't be happier. No.
Nice. And
no comment.
No comment.
Just leave me be.
Plead the fifth. All right. Yeah, I suspected as much. And I'm just like Arsenal, boring and doing okay. Doing pretty well.
Top of the league.
Yeah. That's all we need. Yeah. Exactly.
In your pieces.
Yeah. All set. All right, let's jump in with the usual segment. We always start off with stocks falling or stocks rising. We're going to kick off with stocks rising this week because there's definitely a few contenders and probably quite a few for stocks falling, to be honest, because there are definite winners, definite losers this week. Jude, why don't you kick off stocks rising for us?
My stocks rising this week is a player who, as the weeks go on and his time in the Premier League grows, he's becoming very entertaining to watch. He's scoring very cool goals. He's making Newcastle fans not miss Alexander Isak as much. And there's Nick Woltemade. He's an entertaining, lanky striker to watch. I mean, the goal that he scored this weekend is a testament to how entertaining he can be, and I think he has a lot more of those types of goals in his locker. So I'm purchasing stocks now, but come the end of the season, they're going to be worth a lot. Yeah,
where the investment. You just, I wish I had another camera angle here so you could just see me scratch off my stocks rising because you just got mine, which was good.
Mine as well.
You sucker punched us all. Very, very good shout, to be honest. I'd love to add some words to that, but I think you neatly surmised it there. Vaughn, stocks rising for this week.
Okay, seeing as Jude kind of stole mine, I'm going to go a little bit weird or a little bit left field, and I'm going to say stock rising in African football. One, because Bafana obviously qualified for World Cup, but Morocco just won the Under-20 World Cup as well. And I'm just thinking African football is very controversial at times, and there's a lot of questionable decisions that are made. But I'm loving that the teams are showing up. They're competing on the biggest stages. And if you look at majority of the biggest players in most of the leagues in Europe, they all have some sort of African heritage. And I think that it just shows you how incredible our talent is. And sometimes you just need one person to notice your talent to make it happen. So African footballers. But if we're going with the Premier League, I have to go with obvious and be like, Holland, guys. That man just scores. Just keep scoring.
He has Jamie Vardy's record in his sights.
Yeah.
That man's got everyone's records in his sights.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's disgusting. 23 goals in all competitions, and it's only October. And it's incredible.
I mean,
he's failed to score in one game this season for club and country.
Just
wow,
which is immense.
And I will claim this, the only stadium in the Premier League he has not scored at is Anfield.
So far in the Premier League?
Not happening this season.
Interesting.
Leave me alone. Let me dream.
No, he's definitely doing something because City, I mean, we'll talk about them maybe later, but they were rubbish. And yet Haaland walks away with, again,
with the brains.
It is ridiculous at this point. But hey, that's why you buy amazing strikers who are like Haaland, is to bail you out when maybe you're not really exciting, which is definitely City right now. My stocks rising is another number 9. I'm going for boom, boom, Mateta in the room.
That he missed the one last minute.
Yeah.
But
and his disappointment, man, shame. Like, you just got a hat trick and then you're disappointed because you missed one.
Guy had a 10 out of 10 rating and then had that chance to do absolutely nothing for his rating, but everything for the game. He still walks out of there with a 10 out of 10 for a hat trick, but yeah, oh God, what could have been? But for me, Mateta he's funny because I mean, one of our episodes, I think episode 2 is titled Boom Boom Mateta in the room. And we're back here, 10, 12 episodes later, and he's back as a headline for me. And I kind of didn't expect that because Mateta isn't necessarily my kind of striker. He's a bit gangly, a bit awkward, a bit bumbly, sometimes
very awkward,
yeah, awkward, comes across like things fall for him, but it wasn't by design. Yeah, can't be more wrong about a player. He's awesome. And sometimes players just like settle in the league and then it all just starts to flow for them, and it looks like he's just in that moment, a little bit like Semenyo, but Semenyo's more consistent across each game, whereas maybe Sarr has been the outstanding player for Palace this season. But wow, yeah, Mateta, guys, for me, stocks rising.
He has beef with Wilfried Zaha.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He name dropped Zaha as the player who he had a conversation with, apparently, when he said he was going to play for France. Zaha like took the piss out of him at training and he took it to heart. And Zaha, I was like, what? There were like 7, 8 people there and we were just like having a laugh, it wasn't anything serious, but hey.
Or dressing room thing, right?
Yeah.
And then he went and he scored his first goal for France anyway this week.
I think these things are a distraction, man. Just Mateta shouldn't have name dropped Zaha, and then Zaha he's acting bored making videos in response. Just focus on your football in the US. Stocks falling. This could be more painful, potentially. Where are we at, folks, with stocks falling? Why don't we reverse the order this time? Vaughn, why don't you kick us off and then we'll go Jude and then I'll end off.
Stocks falling, my mental health. That's what I'm saying.
That it?
That's it. My mental health. Guys, I can't ever give my team a stocks falling. Ever. I will never do that, regardless of how bad.
I can help you if you need help.
I can also help you.
No, you guys can have your own. Take your money away. That's fine. My money stays where my money stays. But my money, I'm removing my own money from my own mental health.
That could be interesting. That could be interesting for the audience. What if you don't want to take your money out of Liverpool right now? What is telling you that this is a momentary blip and that you want to keep your money in because you feel investing here is the right thing for the long term? I'm keen to hear.
Because we have a never say die mentality. We always go again. Our entire motto is you never walk alone. And the beginnings of the song is when you walk through a storm, there's a golden light at the end of it. So you have to believe. You have to see it through. You cannot, after 4 games, say that we're going to go on a downfall. We've been in much worse positions and we've always risen. There's a reason why the liver bird is part phoenix, because we rise from the ashes. And if you don't believe that, then you can't support us when we're winning. If last season we went on a 27 match winning streak in the Premier League, and everyone was like, this is the best thing we've ever done. And now that we're in a transitional period and things aren't clicking as well, and we're making mistakes, minor mistakes that, yes, cost us. But if you can't see the potential and you can't see the bigger picture, then you don't believe us, Logan. You don't believe that you'll never walk alone. You don't believe that we'll rise again. So that's where my hope is. I will always believe in my team. I will always believe that there's a bigger picture and there's a reason why we had to go through a slump right now. So I will never take my money out of my team, regardless of where we are. my team is my team. I love the badge. I love the game of football. And I stand by that.
Then if you're never going to take money out or put it in for Liverpool, then it's not a stock, right? But I hear you. I understand the instinct not to want to, I guess, stick the knife in maybe where other people are going to want to do so for Liverpool. But what do you think is? I mean, of course, we're in a situation where Liverpool have gone from leading the title to now 4 losses in a row, and that is odd. I mean, 100%. Maybe you don't want to take your money out of Liverpool, and maybe I'm skipping ahead to our segment on Liverpool and Man United here. But do you think there's anything clear that's going wrong, or is it a bit of everything? Like, do you have a sense of why this is happening?
I think there's a lot of changes that happen in the team, and it may be too many changes too soon or all at once. My biggest issue is, I don't want to say necessarily the tactics. I just think the pressure is on a little bit, and maybe, yes, like Virgil said, every decision was a little bit too rushed. But there's nothing wrong with the players, because you can see the way that they performed in international break. All of them scored, all of them assisted, all of them performed really, really well. So it's just coming back that it's just not clicking as a team right now. And for me, it's a lot of new faces, a lot of new ideas, a lot of new personalities. And I mean, the team looks like they're getting along really, really well. If you look at like the training videos and stuff like that, it looks like there's camaraderie around the team. But I think Slot is very different to Klopp, where he is not as, I don't want to say family oriented, but that's kind of the impression you got around the team. It was a brotherhood under Klopp, and it continued last season with that set of players. And now maybe they're just struggling all to mesh together a little bit. And I can guarantee you, everything that we see that's going wrong in the teams, like the negative passes, the open spaces, the gap between our defense and our attack, there's too much space between there, and you're relying on Virgil and you're relying on Iber to try and create something. And we see it. We know it's happening. And I can guarantee you, the players know it's happening too. The coach knows it's happening too. Slot doesn't not see these things. That's why he is where he is. It's just, I think right now, everyone is trying to be the winner and the hero. And maybe we need to take a step back and remember that it is a team sport a little bit, and everyone's got to pick themselves up together. Everyone has to show up together, So I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Let's dig into this a bit more in a moment when we jump in and chat Man United as well. Judy, stocks falling. Where are you?
I think after Saturday's games, I'm going to say Nottingham Forest as an institution.
My thunder here, bro. Oh my God.
Sorry.
But
I love you both for this. I love you both for this.
Oh no, I'm getting to my Sunday stocks falling. I'm sorry, I have 2 a little bit. But if Tim, if you're going to choose Nottingham Forest, I'll leave that to you.
I'm going go in on your Sunday.
I think, and it was a big talking point in one of our early episodes, Mohamed Salah. I think in a game like yesterday, Salah would be the player to look to make the difference in a game like that. And I don't think he showed up at all. There was that one opportunity that he had that it was closed down, and maybe he felt under pressure, but he shot off targets. But I didn't see anything of the Salah that we're used to in terms of creating or scoring himself. He just wasn't getting into the spaces that can open up opportunities for him. He hasn't kicked on this season, Salah. And kind of what we were talking about in the earlier episodes, I don't think I was on that episode actually, but I kind of agreed, I think it was Barlin or Sal, one of the two, that kind of suggested that Salah is at the end. And for that reason, I'm selling my stocks.
You are money running on Salah. Interesting. Yeah. I thought your stocks falling was going to be Liverpool.
The reason it's not Liverpool is some of the points that Siobhan brought up, in that it is a lot. There's a lot of new players. I mean, I know a situation where a lot of new players were brought in and it didn't quite work out at the first attempt. I'm talking about my club. If you didn't pick up what I was putting down, but so I kind of understand. But in a big game like that, you would look to Salah. Salah also has like this record of scoring against Man United. If I'm not mistaken, like he always scores against Man United.
Yeah.
I didn't see that Salah yesterday or on Sunday.
Yeah, I hear what both of you are saying. I think my first stock falling was going to be Marinakis, and my second was Liverpool. And the reason for Marinakis is, I mean, you sort of covered it, Jude, but not really, which is just Forest were one of the best teams in the league last season, and they've blown
100%. Yeah,
and I cannot. Like, there have been teams like Leeds who had everything. They had everything in the Premier League, and they did something stupid, and then they didn't come back for 20 years. And now they're here, and they're scrapping to stay here. That was a team that, like, won cups, was in the Champions League and stuff. You got to be really careful in England, man. If you make a couple of stupid moves, you can very quickly be falling through. Look at Luton. I think Luton...
They League One now, hey?
Yeah, League One, and now struggling. I think they're like mid-table in League One. That's the team that we were like. I'm still thinking of Rice's winner against Luton 4-3 when they had us on the ropes, and then Rice had to sort of get that last-minute winner. Luton were right there. They made a few. Now, okay, different club obviously to Forest in terms of stature. Forest with their massive history, but what has he done? What have they done? They've
had such a good thing going, man.
They've battled over egos and ultimately blown up their project for Edu Gaspar, who, while he was a wonderful player in the Invincibles, well, sort of more of a squad player, but anyway, he's got Arsenal legend status and did a good rebuild with Arteta. Blowing up what Marinakis had with Nuno to bring in Edu as your director of football across Marinakis Group is ludicrous stuff. It's ludicrous stuff. And hiring Enge might, like, well, you've just taken a defensive team and then given it to like the most attacking football manager ever. There is no plan there. There's nothing that makes any modicum of sense. And so, yeah, I think the only logical next step is he hires himself as manager and does it all.
I'm curious to see what Sean Dyche does.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the Sean Dyche appointment?
I think it's done, isn't it? The Sean.
We've got a here we go. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, look, it makes a lot of sense. And to be honest, he's far more similar to Nuno than Ange ever was. And they need someone to steer the ship.
Yeah, he's a defensive coach. They should have gone for Sean Dyche before Ange, to be honest.
Exactly.
But I think the Ange thing was a personal dinner and drinks conversation that happened off season, so that's why it was always going to happen, because I think the owner had taken Ange out in June or July, and they had already decided that he was going to come in, so he was just biding time for Nuno.
Just what you need as a club. Some stability. Well, my second stock's falling, but I don't need to cover it because we're going to talk about Liverpool and Man United anyway, and we can cover it there. Okay. Anything else, guys, before we move on to our headline games?
Let's move on.
All right. So we've already started talking about it, but Liverpool obviously lost the game against Manchester United yesterday in our headline Sunday fixture. I think, while I hear what you were both saying in the stocks falling section, I think my only pushback would be when you look at Man United's lineup yesterday, you could probably argue that, well, the entire front three is brand new for starters. And man for man, there were just as many new players starting in the lineup than in Liverpool. Partly because Slot had more new players on the bench than Man United have on their bench. So it's a bit of a twisted argument, but you know what I mean. There's a lot of sort of change at Man United as well. And I think when you just picture Liverpool versus Manchester United, I had a feeling, and I said in one of our WhatsApp chats, The Beautiful Game, I said, I really feel Man United are going to do something today. And I couldn't explain it, but Amorim, while his football and the three at the back doesn't really seem to pick up a good points average, and I think it's partly because you don't need a back three against small teams. I think it sets the wrong tone and removes the ability to dominate in the final third, or at least their half of the pitch, and surrenders an aspect of power. When you're up against another big team, I think it can work. And in the big games Man United have had, they've looked decent. And so I felt this was not a bogey game or bogey team, but maybe like a banana game for Liverpool, because I felt with bad form coming into it, the narrative was almost like Liverpool had so much to lose if another loss happened here. Whereas Man United, we can just say, well, we lost to the champions and the project continues and we have all these new players and Amorim was never expected to beat Liverpool. But then they do. And it's sort of, you constantly feel with Man United that they use these big games as every time it's like a reset for a new launch for, hey, it's Amorim's new era kicking off again. I really got to say, Amorim impressed me. The Man United performance impressed me. And they didn't just sit back and play negative football. They came out and played and sort of said to Liverpool, I'm also willing to play, but when you have the ball, we'll sit back and we'll defend well and we'll limit the space. And when we counter, we're going to try to open you up, with Cunha dribbling really, really well to release the sort of pressure valve, and Bumo always on the out ball. Šeško, I have to say, looking like a decent player, if not fabulous. So, yeah, difficult game for Liverpool. And a really, really, really positive moment for Amorim and his team. Their strange blend of chaos and resilience continues. Von, lead us in here. What's your initial thoughts? I mean, of course, you expressed some of them in the stocks falling section, but form, slots, tactics, lineup, players, Salah, Wirtz, Ekitike. I mean, you got so many different angles here. And a million different social media trending topics. Where do you want to start?
Jeez. I think it's really difficult because I know people are going to come for me when I say this, but to concede in the opening 62 seconds is really difficult. It's harder in the manner that it was done, because head injury happens and you cannot tell me referee does not see it. Referee is standing right there. Head injury happens. It does not excuse us conceding the goal. It's not an excuse. We should not be conceding the goal. I think both Virgil, Kirkes, Iber should have been more awake. Yes, Mboma did catch Virgil on his blind side, and I think goalkeeper should have done better. Like Georgie should have done a little bit better. But once United had done that, and they tasted the blood, and Liverpool dropped their heads, to be honest. I do think they dropped their heads a little bit, and then United came at us. First half was difficult. I do think that the teams went toe for toe much better in the second half. I do think Liverpool were the better team in the second half, I'm not going to lie. I think Ahmad had a great game for United. I genuinely do.
Yep.
Biggest criticism with Slot is not starting Robbo in a game like this. I understand Kirkes and his attacking and how he plays for Hungary is great, and that he had a great season with Bournemouth last season. And I also was like, yes, let's sign him. I think he's great. But in a game with this much teeth, a game with this much weight, we needed the experience, someone who's played against United at Anfield for Liverpool. I mean, this game comes with a completely different ball game. It's not your average Premier League game. It's the biggest watched Premier League game in the world, you know? So that's my biggest criticism is I do think he should have played Robbo over Kirkes.
Were you fine with Ekitike being on the bench?
Initially, I wasn't. And as the game went on, I wasn't, to be honest. You guys know I wasn't the biggest Isak fan.
Yep. You called it early on as an unnecessary signing.
Yes. I do think the fact that he didn't actually perform really well for Sweden in the international break either, and he's just about gotten up to match day fitness now. I probably would have preferred Hugo for majority of the game. I think Hugo is hungrier and he's just playing a little bit better. And I think he fits the style a little bit better. He chases back, he grabs the balls back, he tracks, he goes in for the tackles where I feel like Isak doesn't necessarily. But clearly something must have happened in training for Slot to have chosen Isak over Hugo. I do actually, I'm sorry, Didi, I have to disagree with you. I do think Salah played a lot better this game than he did in the previous few games. He tracked back. He actually stood in the middle for corners. He had 2 beautiful crosses in for Cody, who hit the post. I think Cody hit the post 3 times and missed a sitter as well. I think bringing on Fide a little bit too late as well might have been it. But that being said, when Slot made his substitutions, I think every single substitute showed up. Wirtz changed the game for me. As much as he's still, yes, no assists, no goals or whatever, but the way he played, I was really, really impressed with him. Obviously conceding a far post header by Harry Maguire makes me taste vomit in my mouth. I'm not going to lie. It genuinely does. It's disgusting. But I want to say this. Dear Man United supporters, here's my present to you. You get Ruben Amorim for more games. You're welcome.
Actually, speaking of Salah, I actually forgot that that pass that he put in for Cody Gakpo, where I think it was in the first half, Gakpo hit the post.
There were 2
with the finesse shot. I actually forgot about those. So
and the goal
fair enough.
The goal that he missed, he actually scored an almost identical goal to that for Egypt in the World Cup qualifiers. So why he missed that one, I don't know. Maybe like Virgil says, everyone was just too rushed with it and the decision-making wasn't the greatest. Yes, you could have crossed the ball in. But I mean, Isak scores those goals every day in, day out for Newcastle. And then there he goes and gives it straight to the goalkeeper. Like, it's just...
That's my sense.
It's minor margins. Because, I mean, on everything else, we completely outplayed United if you look at all the stats, except for the one that counts, which is goals. But
no, I think United had a great game.
I think they definitely showed up.
Their players...
United play.
Their players performed higher than I expected. Bumo and Cunha leading the line very well. It's good in defense. I think maybe the only problem was maybe their midfield, where at some points I think it was said in the group, it seemed like they had no one in midfield. But their attack and defense did a job. I think they played very well, more than I expected of them in this game in particular. I won't lie, I thought Liverpool were going to win before the game. Right. And Man United proved me wrong. Also, well done to them.
Hey, Man United. Amorim continues. All right. Anything else on Liverpool before we move on?
No. Can I just talk about the atmosphere, maybe?
Yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah, quick.
I saw Sal making comments about the legendary atmosphere, blah, 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 at Anfield. The atmosphere sucked. I'm not going to lie. It did on Sunday. But I know why. So, December 2023, I went to a Liverpool versus Man United game and at Anfield. And I was there in the rain. I had just broken my leg a few weeks before that, so I was on crutches, sitting in the stadium with my dad. And whenever I go to the stadium, I personally purchase hospitality tickets because I don't believe in taking away seats from locals. So that's just my belief. I sat in this game against United. It was a goalless draw, so it wasn't the most exciting game. But I mean, it's Man United Liverpool, like I said, biggest game in the Premier League. And it is the worst atmosphere I've ever experienced. The reason being is because it is the biggest watched game in the entire world for the Premier League, there are only foreigners in that game. So people don't sing because they don't know all the songs. They know the popular ones, but we don't sing Ale, ale, ale during Champions League, during Premier League. We only sing it during Champions League. The only time you could really hear the Liverpool supporters were during Diogo's song, because everyone knows that now that he's passed away. Rest in peace, Diogo. But during the game that I went to, I sat next to 3 people. And they actually shouted at me for singing and screaming and jumping up and down. Yeah, on one leg, mind you. So I was there for the experience, because 2 of them were asleep and the other one who wasn't asleep was playing Candy Crush. So these foreigners come to these games because they want to say they've been to a Liverpool Man United game at Anfield and blah, 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 but they're not even engaged in the game. So that is why I think the atmosphere is that bad. And when your team is going through a struggle moment, you need your 12th man. 100%. You need that stadium to rock. But if people are selling their tickets to foreigners and foreigners are purchasing those tickets and they're not there for the football, they're there for the vibes and the gram, it's not going to help. It's not going to help. So I'm not putting blame on foreigners. I'm not putting blame on season ticket holders that are selling their tickets, because yes, you make a lot of money out of it. I'm just saying this is the situation that it is. So it is not the core Anfield crowd that is quiet, because the cop sings, and you can hear it because there'll be 2 different songs going on. You'll hear the cop singing old songs like The Fields of Anfield Road, and then you'll hear other people singing for Chiesa, because it's a catchy tune and now everyone knows the words to it. But then when nothing happens, it's silent. So that's my 2 words on it. And I speak from experience because I've been there. And for me, the best atmosphere I've ever experienced was a Fulham game at Anfield, because it wasn't a big game. So there were all the Scousers in the stadium. And I promise you, the stadium, it was shaking. And it was just a Fulham game. Fulham game. We won. Easy. Yeah.
I hear you. I don't know if I agree with you about the cause. I agree with you about the outcome. I think whether it's foreigners or whether it's just rising ticket prices, meaning that the middle class is coming into the stadium instead of the lower class, working class fan that used to be.
It can't be raising ticket prices, because Liverpool have kept their ticket prices stayed the same for the last, I think, 4 or 5 seasons.
But I haven't rated Anfield or any English stadium for decades, because I mean they're good on 1 or 2 nights a year, but in general, like, fans leave early. The away ends are usually louder than the rest of the stadium, and the class of people, the people who come into stadiums, is 100% changed. And Arsenal had a good atmosphere in 2023 for the first time in ages, because we allowed like a semi-hooligan group to come in called Ashburton Army, and they had like an all blacked out end of the clock end. And then 1 year later, the club went, oh no, we can't do that. Cut all the tickets for those fans. And now we're back to having a library in the Emirates. I think all big clubs are suffering from the same problem. And to a certain degree, it is going to be people coming in who are the tourists, right? Coming in and wanting to watch an entertainment spectacle. But I definitely think...
I get why the clubs do that. At the end of the day, you get foreigners who come in. They go into your store. They're not going to buy 1 jersey and then leave. They're going to go to the stadium early. They're going to drink pints of beer. They're going to spend £1,000 at the store in merchandise. They're going to do the stadium tours. They're going to spend money in the stadium for the club, because that's the entire reason why they're there. Whereas the locals, they buy their jersey at the beginning of the season. They go in, maybe have 1 pint if they're happy or not. They're not going to buy their food. They're going to go watch the game, leave. That's it. They're not going to go to the pubs afterwards. They're not, like, foreigners do that, you know?
I was very surprised the first time I went to the stadium to watch a Premier League game, where it was Chelsea versus Bournemouth, and all the singing that I heard throughout the game, most of it was from the away end. And I was like, what is actually happening? This is not what I expected. Like, they're louder than everyone. What's the deal? And everyone around me was quiet. And everyone around me was also foreigners. They weren't English.
Interesting.
The reason
No.
why the away end is generally louder is because you have to attend a certain number of home games for your season ticket in order for you to qualify for away game tickets. So those are all local lads. They're not foreigners. It's
Yeah.
almost impossible to get an away ticket.
And it's just concentration of support intensity. When you've only got 3,000 people traveling, you're going to have the 3,000 that if they were at the home stadium, they'd all be shouting. And when you concentrate support in one area and you put them all in the same sector, then it's like a force multiplier. Whereas you have the opposite effect when you put vocal fans, but then you surround them with 6 people who aren't singing. Very quickly that vocal fan will become less vocal over time, because you don't want to be just shouting on your own in the middle of the stadium. And I felt that a few times at the Emirates, where I'm like, I'm definitely the most intense person right now in this area of the stadium, and maybe I don't want to be, so I'll sort of cool it down. But we got to move on. We've been on this game for too long.
Sorry.
Right, other games. Quick run through then. Palace 3-3 with Bournemouth. That was the game of the weekend for me. Definitely.
What a game.
The two best
Stunning.
that are
What
in the top
football.
6. Yeah, these guys are amazing. I already spoke about Mateta, so we crossed that off the list. I do want to just quickly say Munoz is one of the best players who's not playing in the top 6 and will be very, very soon. What a player. Oh my God. And not just defensively, but impacts all areas of the game. Goodness me. Yeah, they're lucky to have a player like that. South London is an absolute heartland for good talent incubation, and Palace is a club I have a soft spot for. And so is Bournemouth, because Iraola is one of Mikel's mates growing up, and I think they have very similar philosophies, and I'm really enjoying how Bournemouth play. Any thoughts on the game, folks?
Munoz, I've rated him since last season. He's also always in my FPL because of his attacking threat and his defensive abilities. Antoine Semenyo, again, he's going to be at a bigger team very soon.
Yep.
He's such a quality player. Who else from that game? Mateta, you've mentioned. What an entertaining game. And I kind of had this feeling that your Bournemouth versus Palace, this has the potential to be like a cracker, and it certainly delivered. Brilliant game to watch.
Yeah, I was dumb enough to watch the City game instead of this one. And then only after I was like, whoa. So I just want to say, I watched the highlights. I didn't watch the whole game, but geez, what a gift to football that game was. Like, that's sort of the game you want to see, where it's toe for toe, goal for goal, fighting till the end. And then it would have been a fairy tale for them to have scored, for Mateta to have scored that the easiest goal out of all of them, I think.
Out of all of them.
But I do love the fact that he was that disappointed despite scoring for France and then a hat-trick, and then just be that disappointed in his interview straight afterwards and being a little bit heavy on himself. But I think he needs to hold his head up high. He's really, really good. Bournemouth should have been a little bit better defensively, to be honest, to have kept letting the goal come back in all the time, and then conceding a late penalty as well. But yeah, I really need to rewatch that game.
Yeah, quality game. What did you think of City, considering you watched that one?
It was such a boring game, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. But this is the thing that makes City so different, is everyone on that pitch can be playing bad, and it doesn't really matter if you've got Haaland who's scoring and making it look easy. It doesn't matter how you play. As long as he's scoring and he's securing those 3 points, and suddenly now City are back in the title contention, and you've got to start taking them seriously again.
Yeah. Funnily enough, right at the start of the season, when Liverpool was winning games with late winners, and I was saying, I don't feel late winners is a sustainable way of winning football matches, that ultimately you would prefer almost like a sterile domination with a few 1-0s and 2-0s and less intensity, emotional intensity. City's an odd one, because I can't quite tell is this going to go down the route of Haaland cannot continue like this. Like, no one in the history of football has done what he's doing right now. And I cannot assume that he'll do this for the rest of the season, where Man City can be completely bang average in all phases of the play, except when it gets to Haaland, and then he executes it at a level which is a level above every defense that he comes across. And so there is a fear. And, I didn't rate City at the beginning of the season, but I I have said a couple times to other folks that I feel City use the first section of a season as a preseason, and they almost like warm up into it. And then once they hit their stride, it's game over for everyone. And there's two ways.
They just need to keep Haaland fit, because if Haaland gets injured, then it's dangerous.
Yeah, and it's always possible. I mean, they got rid of Alvarez because Julian didn't really want to wait for those moments where he could be, playing as the focal point, because Haaland doesn't really get injured. He gets maybe a thigh strain or a slight calf tweak, and then he's out for one game.
Right. Yeah.
That is his model.
The man's a beast. I don't know.
Yeah. Arsenal had a similar game, I think, to City, in the sense that City won 2-0, very boring, very simple, and they executed with a single point of quality that the opposition cannot stop. And Arsenal won in a very boring game with quality that wasn't singularly focused in one player, although Saka had an incredible game. But the sum total of the quality of the Arsenal team was so much higher than Fulham that they almost looked like they won that without really trying, to be honest. And this is happening a lot, where Arsenal don't concede a shot on target. There's no XG. There's no chances. Fulham did nothing. And then Arsenal don't even need to be fantastic. They just need to get a goal and then increase the pressure and increase the risk until they get that goal. And yet they do so in a way which keeps the opposition like strangled. And Fulham, I think, have been really dangerous in games this season on the break. They look really good on the break. They didn't against Arsenal, not really. And I think the penalty could have been easily left to the penalty on-field decision. I think it was not a clear and obvious error from the referee, even though I think he got the ball. I think he definitely clatters through Saka's knee first and then touches the ball. And so I don't think it's a clear and obvious error. But yeah, for me, Arsenal just doing what they've been doing. Very boring.
Do you think Arsenal will come close to Chelsea's record in terms of goals conceded in a season?
I know that the maths is going around saying that we're on track for 14 goals and Chelsea's was 15. No, Not for me, mate. I think there will be a time when this is not as rosy, and it's going to happen soon, and someone will figure out a way of unsettling our back 4 or 5 and we'll concede a bunch of goals. Because no, I think what I saw with Mourinho in 04-05 is the kind of thing that doesn't... I love Saliba, I love Timber, I love Gabriel, I love Raya, I love Calafiori, but I think there will be moments. There will be moments where we'll concede 2 or 3 in a game, and then suddenly, like with such a small difference, you have 1 3-0 game or 3-3 or 4-3, and already you've thrown away like 1/4 of the goals. So no, I don't think it's going to happen, mate. Your record is safe.
Yeah, just checking, because you never know with these things, man.
You never know. Any thoughts on Arsenal and City before we move on?
Rice is playing amazing at the moment. That's all.
Yep.
I think Arsenal they're getting the results. I know this is like a cliche thing that a lot of commentators say. They're getting the kind of results that champions get. Can be a very sloppy and boring game, but somehow they still come away with 3 points. And those are the type of games that champions win, or future champions. So Arsenal, they're looking like they're the team to chase down the season.
Yeah, this fixture list didn't do the most for Arsenal last season. They lost to City, they lost to Newcastle away, they lost to West Ham at home, and then they drew with Fulham away. And this season it's 9 points.
But you see, this is where you can see Arteta's work, because they've learned from those lessons and they've improved. Because all those games that you've drawn and lost last season, you've won this season. So that tells me that you've learned from the mistakes, you've strengthened, and in my opinion, it is your league to lose.
Big statement. Early.
I say that.
Caesar said something similar in another group, and I just feel it's too early. And the points gap there is like, I feel like a few weeks ago we were saying the same about Liverpool. Someone said in our groups,
The thing for me is, if there's a 4-point difference and this was in February, you would say, yes, Liverpool have a chance to catch Arsenal. But there's a 4-point difference, and we're in October. And we're on a bad run. So unless it changes immediately, which I might, but we will still drop points later on in the season.
No, I think
next season going forward.
I think the picture only becomes clearer after the hectic Christmas period. I think it's too early to say. I think it's too early to say anything title related.
I agree. Christmas.
Well, I said it. So there.
I'm a perennial pessimist until like basically Arsenal have their hands gripped around the trophy, because I have seen too many ifs, buts, and maybes to be confident.
And Hathaway starts posting pictures of her Arsenal shirt again, and then maybe it's happening.
Well, Leo scored. Leo Trossard scored, so Anne Hathaway might be tuning in. Spurs versus Villa. Villa got the win. Interesting game. I thought it was a really good game. I love the back and forth in the Spurs games, to be honest. They've improved so much. Wow. Such a short space of time. But then Villa look like they're also on the up. Rodgers might be back. I love the way he plays. He's just such an entertainer. Any thoughts on Spurs Villa, guys?
We'll be honest, was busy this time on Sunday.
There we go.
I did watch the game, and I remember saying to my dad, Spurs look like such a different team compared to when they were under Ange. They have a plan. They know what they're doing. They're hungry for the ball. They're enjoying their football. It's great to watch. What happened towards the end? I don't know why they ended up conceding 2 goals. But
bit of Spursiness in the DNA still. Yeah.
Yeah. Big up to Villa for coming back and that never say die. And to win at, what is it called now?
Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
I was going to say White Hart Lane. Shows you how old I am. But like Villa away from home, clutching it. I think it was great. And like, I'm waiting for the good evenings to come back.
Yeah, good evenings. Forest, Chelsea. Judy, how do you feel about that one?
I think we had a very whack first half. I can't find a better word. But we were lacking some quality in the first half. And when Caicedo comes on, the game changes. Wow. What a player. I think, our quality showed in the second half with the substitutions. Maresca got it right from the stands because he had a touchline ban. Happy for Josh Achiumpong getting his first senior goal. Reece James is fucking world class. Sorry. And this narrative of when he's fit must stop now because he's been fit for a long time. He hasn't been injured in 2025. I think either between him and Timber, the two best right backs in the league. But James he's my captain. I love him. Attacking wise, defensive wise, what a player.
Yeah, can't fight.
Who needs 11 men when you can win with 10?
Yeah.
Oh shit! And then we of course get another red card.
I think out of the 6 games you guys have gotten red cards, you've won 5 out of the 6. The only one you've lost is against United.
Against United, yeah. And to be fair, one of those red cards was our manager.
Yeah.
Getting in on action.
A brilliant moment of the Forest. I can never remember his name.
Marinakis.
Him staring at Enzo and like he's busy celebrating the goal, like going crazy, and this guy's just giving him the biggest death stare. Like,
I'd never wanted a death stare from a billionaire. It's like, I'll take it from the guy who's managing the local Sunday league side, because you're like, his resources mean he can't assassinate me. Like, feasibly, there's no ways this guy can get me killed. But with Marinakis, you'd be like, 2% chance he actually could get me killed, you know? Like, but anyway.
Well, I mean, he took away someone's job within 18 minutes after full time. So, like,
psycho.
I saw an interview that Ange had left the stadium before the players even found out he had been fired.
Yeah, it's like, I think I said to Caesar that we probably found out before he did, because we got the Nottingham Forest confirmation the moment the game ended, and there's no chance that he like immediately pulled out his phone and it's like a call from Marinakis saying you're fired.
Yeah, because
what happened was full time happened. They all went into the change rooms. he addressed the players saying how disappointed he was again and where they can change things and how they need to go again for Thursday. He was called out of the dressing room into a boardroom with the owner, immediately told that he was fired. There were rumors that things got physical and someone punched someone. I don't know how true that is. And he grabbed his bag, walked straight out of the stadium into his car and left. The players were then only afterwards. So then Forest then made their tweet about it 18 minutes later. The media then found out about it. Then the players were called out of the changing rooms or the dressing room into the boardroom where they were then told what happened.
Well,
Yeah, Marinakis left before full time. So he probably made his decision mid-game.
What wonderful way to manage a football club. Just making decisions at halftime and just anyway. Brighton 2-1 Newcastle. Didn't really expect Newcastle to drop the points, but as we've constantly said, Brighton get the wins against the big teams. If you want to count Newcastle as a big team, I do personally, given their expenditure and where they sit. Bloody hell, another win for Brighton. Voltemada continuing, as we said, in the stocks rising, to be the player for the culture in some respects, bringing back a bit of sauce.
I think he's going to be one of those the streets will never forget kind of strikers.
It feels like it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he'll have longevity, though, because the streets won't forget ballers. Usually have one season and kind of fall off.
He's got too much talent for that. It might be that Newcastle look at this and go, we're actually happy to have taken the money for a striker who had just got to the absolute pinnacle of English football, in the sense you can't score more than really what Isak scored last season. That's probably a peak. And then for a club like Newcastle, you have the space to incubate the next big striker because, there's a little bit less pressure than you have at Arsenal, Chelsea and Liverpool, but you have the stage to do what he's doing. So, wow. I just love skinny, lanky strikers who have incredible techers. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Burnley 2-0 Leeds, that is a bad result for you guys. Yeah, that looked far too easy for Burnley, to be honest, based on the highlights that I saw. But hey, maybe someone saw the game and thought Leeds were fantastic, but not
Leeds had more of the opportunities from what I saw.
They had more shots on target and shots and overall chances, you're right, but their defense just seems to crumble at times.
Yeah,
odd.
The second goal was amazing.
Sure, you're right there. Yeah. You can't criticize the defense for who you can criticize is Wolves' defense, because I thought they were, again, so
they're going down, man.
They're going down, right? Are we all in?
They're going down.
Maybe done.
Well, heart breaks a little bit for them because, like, I kind of had a little bit of a soft spot for them.
I like Wolves. Yeah.
Yeah, like when like Adamo was playing and Diogo was playing and Raul was playing.
Pedro Neto.
Yes, like I really enjoyed watching them play, but I guess now that all those players are gone elsewhere and their manager's gone elsewhere, it's a little bit heartbreaking to see it, because you can see how much they want to win, they want to try, they want to score, they want to do it, but it's just not working.
Once you get rid of Nuno Espirito Santo as your manager, things just go pear-shaped for you, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be something that the billionaire owners of various clubs don't seem to have figured out, which is interesting.
I'm really keen to see how Nuno performs tonight, now knowing what happened over the weekend and if he's gloating a little bit.
He's going to be an angry man, I think, watching a project he was so important to just blow up. But anyway, Sunderland, interesting team. I love what they've done, and it never works like this. You can never football manage your way to a squad where you buy everybody and basically replace your entire team, walk into the Premier League. It never works. And so many promoter clubs do this, and yet it's working. So
I'm keen to see Sunderland when AFCON is happening. They have a lot of African players.
The team disappears.
Yeah.
So but you have Shaka, guys. Shaka makes the big difference.
Boom, boom. Yeah. I love Xhaka.
I rate him. I really do. I hated the fact that he played for Arsenal, but I really do rate him. He's such a player.
If you were to buy one guy across Europe to be the foundation of the heart and soul of your midfield. When you were doing a promotion run, whoever managed to convince him, Xhaka, come from Leverkusen, where his wife was from, his family was from, this whole thing was
won the league.
Yeah. The whole homecoming thing. Did he get bored? Like, why has he ended up in the north of England where it only rains? Anyway, someone has done a madness or paid him incredible money. Right, last game of the weekend is West Ham versus Brentford, which is happening right now.
Now, 20 minutes in.
What are we looking at? Is it 0-0? Anyone got the game in front of them? Let's have a look. 0-0.
Yeah, 0-0.
0-0. And what are we looking at in terms of stats? Pretty even so far. More XG for Brentford. 4 shots to 1. Okay. West Ham probably going to get banged again, but who knows? Maybe by the time this is being listened to, we have a West Ham 3-0 win. Unlikely. Quick game of the week then. I know we're way over time. I'm going to do guessing a player by his nationality and 2 clubs. But instead of giving you a second club, I'm just going to give a city he played in, because that gives you 2 options for...
Unless you're in London, that gives you 75 gazillion options.
Yes. 2 optional players, however. Let's go with this. Let's go with the player is Brazilian, played in Manchester for one of the 2 Manchester clubs, and also played for Shakhtar Donetsk.
Yes.
The Brazilian incubator.
So, yeah, there was that period where they had gang Brazilians. Willian was one of them.
Willian was. Willian
He's played in Manchester. He's played in Manchester and Shakhtar Donetsk.
I'm going to give a position.
Okay.
Central midfield.
Fred.
That is one of the 2 options. Well done, Judy.
Who was the other?
Fernandinho.
Oh, Fernandinho, of course.
How you played for Shakhtar Donetsk?
I was going to say they both start with F, but I thought, that's a bit easy. But yeah, Fernandinho, absolute legend. I think he captained Shakhtar before he moved over. But yeah, part of that Brazilian pipeline. And I've been told to look out for Shakhtar Donetsk moving forward. They apparently have a new Brazilian pipeline. Still not allowed to play in Donetsk, of course, given the fact that Donetsk is currently occupied by Russian troops. But yeah, they're a club on the up in Europe, in Ukrainian football. I have a soft spot for them, I must say. I loved Willian. I loved Fred. I thought Fernandinho was a fantastic player as well. And they also had some other players, like I think Wagner Love played for them, and then
yes.
CSKA or something else.
Yeah, CSKA Moscow.
Yeah. Shit, was Wagner Love an option then, maybe? City, Shakhtar.
Oh, yes.
Maybe. Anyway. Guys, we're going on too long. V or Fs. It's one of those guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you made it this far, Von, Jude, thank you for coming on. Von, particularly you, after taking your L yesterday.
Taking 4 L's.
Major.
We're going to change it to W, see?
Take those L's and put it into a W, and we'll see. I still think that the Premier League title race is very much a 3-horse race between City, Liverpool, and Arsenal. Jude might have sneaky suspicions deep in his heart that it's a 4-horse race, and Chelsea is still involved.
With Bournemouth.
All we need, yeah, and maybe we had Bournemouth in there. Maybe we had in Palace. Let's just make it a 7 or 6-horse race. Let's keep it exciting. I am not convinced that Arsenal are going to walk away with this, despite what people might have you believe online. Right, let's see what happens next weekend, folks. Thank you so much for joining. Ciao for now.